How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Joker's Poltergeist, aka Joker's Wild. This is from 2016, directed by Christopher S. Lind, and stars Lacy Marie Meyer, Ari Boyland, Heinle, and features an appearance from Eric Roberts. And fun fact, this movie actually is in two different film series. It's set in the same universe as Karate Christmas Miracle, which I've heard was decent, but I'm not really a fan of sports movies. But also in some markets, this was marketed as American Poltergeist 4. And the American Poltergeist movies are kind of a funny little phenomenon. A bunch of unrelated, super low budget American movies that have to deal with ghost. And some European distributor decided, hey, let's market them as a series. From what I gather, after American Poltergeist 2, the branding was less and less common, and it basically became an excuse to sell German DVDs. But it's a fun way to go and explore low-budget American horror. I've been collecting and reviewing them periodically. However, sad to say, we're 4 in, and they all suck. And this one is no exception. If you guys have watched low-budget horror before, you're probably familiar with this term. It's got a lot of low-budget clunk. The plot's a little bit aimless, the scare sequences are a little bit random, like for real, too many dreams and visions and just random scary moments, but also they're not super scary either. A large part of that is because without a good story and characters, it's hard to get invested into the movie. The people don't really understand how to build tension, but also when we get a random scare sequence that just ends in a guy standing there in a Joker mask, it's not really that great. In general, the acting isn't great outside of Eric Roberts, but they really did skimp on the scare actors, which is something I've seen so many low-budget movies do. For real, if you have a scare actor, you can't just put a guy in a mask, you have to legitimately get someone scary and threatening. The biggest pro with this movie is that they did shoot on location in a real theater. A theater is a building I'm naturally interested in, being a movie lover. It's a big space with lots of little back rooms, and there's cool art and architecture. But that being said, do you know why we're in a theater? It's because that the movie's about a woman trying to open up a theater 1 year after a tragedy. The tragedy being a man dressed up as the Joker went in and committed a killing spree. And if this sounds familiar, that's because this movie is clearly inspired by the real-world tragedy that happened at a Dark Knight Rises screening, where a man went on a killing spree dressed as a Joker in real life. And I don't know, I mean, there's no hard and fast rules as to how to do something like this, and to be fair, the movie is trying to have a serious take on grief. That being said, we're in a clunky and awkward low-budget horror movie. It's never near as profound as it thinks it is. And I don't know, I mean, you guys can tell me in the comments what you think about this, but personally, I think it's the wrong place at the wrong time. It's way too soon, and a low-budget horror movie probably isn't the proper place for something like this. I don't know, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way and felt like something we really shouldn't be doing. But I guess that's subjective, and again, what do you guys think? But yeah, between that and just generally being a clunky and awkward, non-scary horror movie that doesn't have a really good focus, this isn't one that I can really recommend in any capacity. But if you guys want to hear my further thoughts, from here on out I will be talking a bit about the plot. I won't spoil the ending and I'll try not to ruin anything major, so no major spoilers, but from here on out, let's take a bit of a deeper dive. We of course open up with the tragedy. They're playing a movie called Joker's Wild, which is the alternate title for this movie, and sadly we know absolutely nothing about the movie within the movie. I get that that's not really the film's focus, but it would be nice to hear a little bit about it. Like, is it a horror movie? Is it a superhero movie? It would be a good bit of world building if we just talked about it a little bit. But anyway, everybody at the premiere is dressed up as either the Joker, hopefully legally distinct enough, hopefully DC doesn't sue them, but they're either the Joker or this half and half makeup routine. So yeah, a lot of the times when you're meeting your new main characters in this movie, they're all going to be in disguise. That doesn't really help the movie, but because they're all in disguise, the killer's going to get in and start shooting up the place. And right off the bat, you can tell you're in trouble because it's shot and you can understand what's happening, but it's not shot in any way that builds tension. And for real, you should feel trapped in here. You should feel panicked. And instead you just feel like you're watching something happen. You have to have shot choices that direct the emotion, not just shot choices that capture everything in camera. Also, your main characters for this sequence are the theater owner and his adult daughter, and we didn't really get any time with them beforehand. Character investment equals enhanced tension, and when we don't know these characters yet, we don't feel as much tension. Also, because of the costumes, the dad's dramatic death sequence happens with a goofy clown mask on. Not a great idea. Well, we cut to 1 year later, the daughter's reopening the theater, her boyfriend is the one that shot the Joker in the past, and they're bringing their therapy group to the theater to try to move on. And of course, we're going to get scary sequences. As I said earlier, the sequences are more awkward than anything else, especially because there's just a lot of people just standing around in Joker mask and they're not really scary, they're just standing there. Sometimes they'll chant the word liar and hint at a stupid revelation towards the end of the movie. It's not a great plot point. And we'll also get random sequences, especially with these visions, where they're like, oh, we need to get up to the balcony, maybe the doors up there aren't locked. And you know that they don't have the stunt budget to climb in this theater, so how do they get up there? Well, the girl has a random vision, and when she snaps out of it, she's just on the balcony. That's the kind of clunky storytelling we're dealing with. The one really good visual out of all this is when they use Eric Roberts on the big movie screen. Basically, the idea is that Eric Roberts is the unmasked version of the killer, and yeah, they did the whole thing where we only see him through his manifesto tapes, so they didn't have to pay money to fly Eric Roberts out to set, and then whenever he's in the theater, he's wearing the clown mask, so it's clearly not him. But when we do see Eric Roberts, it is a really strong performance, and to get to see that up on the big screen, literally looming over our main characters, it's a really good movie theater specific visual, almost like the Wizard of Oz or something. That's probably one of the few parts I'll remember from this movie. I will say towards the end, when it gets to be about the support group stuck in the theater, that's a much more streamlined thought process. We're in a theater with a ghost, how do we get out of here? But sadly, it takes a while to get there, and the movie before that is a little bit unfocused. If they had made this happen way sooner and had it be a almost slasher style chase and escape movie, knowing the layout of the theater and figuring out how to hide from the ghost, simpler and more straightforward is better, but they're not even trapped in the theater till way too late into the movie, so that doesn't work. And there is one more thing worth noting, and that is we have this subplot with an evil mayor. Yeah, this isn't a shark movie, but I can't escape evil mayors. The evil mayor wants to tear down the theater because of the tragedy. He doesn't like the building, and he also wants to take away her gun and not allow her to hire an armed guard for the theater. I don't think the mayor has the capacity to do either of these things. If you're the mayor, you can't just tear down buildings you don't like, and also, if you're the mayor, you're in charge of a city, not the state, and the state would have final say as to what the gun rights are. You can't just have a rogue mayor changing state laws. But yeah, that is one other thing with this movie. This movie is very pro 2A. The idea is that the boyfriend stopped the Joker because he was armed, and now the main character doesn't feel safe unless she has a gun. And I mean, if you guys know the channel, you know I'm from Texas, and down here we're very pro self-defense, but I've said it before, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, it matters if the movie itself works, and sadly the messaging here, again, is way too on the nose. She literally has a dream sequence where she's in a hospital that appears apropos of nothing, by the way, and literally has a group of people chant at her saying, "You shouldn't like guns." That, the evil mayor, it's really, really on the nose. And also, if you want to be a pro 2A movie, maybe don't have two separate scenes where the main characters almost accidentally shoot each other. Yeah, I get what you were going for, but if you're going to include messaging in your story, it has to be properly woven into the story and make sense, and here it's just random and unfocused, much like pretty much the rest of this movie. Overall, I can't really give this one a recommendation. It's a clunky, low-budget horror movie, which pretty much all of the American Poltergeist movies have been so far. 4 out of 7. None of them have been particularly great, but we still have 3 more, and I have my fingers crossed, so hopefully some of the next couple might be okay. We'll see when we get to those. Anyway though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom if you guys want to see me review more movies kind of like this. Feel free to click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.